Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today. I don't think Mr. Bethesda is in the house right now, which means we can actually start this video right away, a rare occurrence as of late. So let's capitalize, shall we? It begins with what happened last time we did a Fallout First video, which is linked in the description down below if you'd like to watch the full thing. But pretty much Bethesda responded through an article via Polygon. We have yet to see a public announcement from Bethesda of any changes that will happen in the Fallout 76 Fallout First subscription service, whether it be pricing or value package within this deal or a future model that will be more consumer friendly. Nothing of that kind yet from Bethesda. I personally haven't heard anything on that front. All seems quiet. Their social media channels are completely silent, and I believe the approach they're really taking here is hoping it'll blow over. So what I want to look at is some of the under the radar moves Bethesda's doing, which sort of solidifies that belief of mine. And on top of that, there's a bit of a civil war going on in Fallout 76. I'd like to give my thoughts on that because it's actually kind of hilarious. So get comfortable. All the sources are linked in the description down below, and let's get it started with that under the radar move I had mentioned. So whenever maintenance occurs on Fallout 76, it has to go offline, and there will be a post on Bethesda.net. As you can see here, all of them have Fallout 76 maintenance followed by a date, which then upon completion, it will let us know on these posts. The most recent one was October 25th, 2019, just over this past weekend, where it says, from Valseek, the community manager, "Hi everyone, we're going to be bringing down Fallout 76 for all platforms at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today in order to perform maintenance. During downtime, we are going to address an issue that has caused scrap items to go missing for some players after they had placed them into the scrap box and then loaded into a world. While we do not have an end time to share for today's maintenance, be sure to revisit this thread for updates, and we will let you know as soon as you can head back into Appalachia. If you'd like more information about the scrap issue and our plans moving forward, please visit this thread on our forums." And this thread leads us to a page that pretty much reiterates what we read via the Polygon article, that Bethesda was looking into it. At first they thought it was a UI issue, but it turned out it was actually a bug where people were losing items in the scrap box. Then Bethesda followed this up with an update on the forum post, which says maintenance is now complete and we've brought Fallout 76 back online for all platforms. Today's fix was aimed at addressing an issue that could cause scrap to go missing from the scrap box. As mentioned here, we are still looking into ways we can restore scrap to the affected characters, and we'll let you know as soon as we have more details to share on that. Thank you for your continued patience during downtime today. So you guys know me, I like to be fair when I report. It appears Bethesda has addressed the scrap box issue. That does seem to be working fine now. I haven't read any more complaints on Reddit or from people who are dabbling in Fallout First program, which I don't think is many as far as I'm aware, but still something to be aware of. Sadly, nothing in the terms of offering those items back to players. They're still trying to figure something out there, but once again, I think this is a part of the letting it blow over thing, like the, oh, we'll get to it, we're looking into it, and hopefully something significant happens with 76, whether it's good or bad, that takes their eyes off that initial promise there, and players will just go back to playing and regathering the items, because that would be much quicker than actually waiting for Bethesda to do it. You know, when you send in a console or an electronic of any kind to a company to repair, and sometimes you feel like it would have just been better if you spent the money and just got what you needed again, because companies take forever to repair it, send it back. Sometimes that refurbished object isn't as good as just a brand new one. That's what I kind of think of when it comes to Bethesda and pretty much any patch. You're better off just doing it yourself than relying on them to provide for you, especially in this case. I don't know how you could prove what was in your inventory or how Bethesda could recover that data from your character. Anyway, let's get into the hilarious part of it all, which is the Fallout 76 Civil War, which has been gaining a lot of traction over on Reddit. And I gotta say, I commend people for what they're doing, but I think it's a little bit of a weird psychology, and I'll get into why that's the case. So here's the first Reddit post, which reads, "Fallout First players are being targeted in adventure mode. People are ganging up on Fallout First players in adventure mode and grieving anyone with the icon, LOL." This has 8.5k upvotes. It's gained a lot of traction, and in an adverse effect for Bethesda, a lot more people are signing into this game to grief players who are paying for the Fallout First service, which I kind of find funny, but in all honesty, it's someone's choice to spend the money, right? At the end of the day, whether it's they're a fanboy or they don't really see what's wrong with it, or they don't really care at the end of the day how much they're spending, or they just have the means to do so and they enjoy 76, That's their decision. And I don't know if grieving them and making them feel awful about their choice is really the smart way of going about it and making them realize that they've made a quote bad decision, right? All you can do is offer them, I think, knowledge, enlighten them a little bit, saying like, hey, let's look at Game Pass versus Fallout first. What is the value there? Bethesda should at least lower their price in comparison, right? Because there's so much value in a subscription service across the street. That's how you kind of break through to people, not absolutely ruining their time. In fact, I feel that emboldens them and makes them double down on that thing. Like they will now stay forever a Fallout First subscriber. They're not gonna unsubscribe because you're griefing them. They'll probably switch servers and keep doing what they're doing because they care about the game enough to pay for it. Now, a since deleted post says, Fallout First players, we need to assemble and build gated communities for ourselves. Piss poor 76ers are targeting us. And yeah, once again, man, I just find the situation kind of funny where now you're seeing two parts of the fan base collide, and bravo to Bethesda for splitting the community even more than 3 New Vegas could have. I swear to God, we had it good back in 2014/15. Oh my God, can we all just take a moment to think about that? I remember when that was like the big argument in the Fallout community. Now it's Fallout First versus non-Fallout First, and since it's an online game, people are actually engaging in combat with one another. This might be an upgrade to the survival mode that Bethesda put in the game and then removed. They should just do this, make a mode called First versus whatever, and just have them duke it out constantly. I'm sure players would really get engaged with something like that because you could role play a little bit. You'd be like, oh man, the people who are subscribed to Fallout First or the Raiders or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, there are people killing each other on Fallout 76 over this. I read that someone did an emote outside of a vault and got harassed because it was a Fallout First emote. And like, all I'm saying is, this stuff should not be advocated. Harassment should not be advocated. Even though Bethesda's choice to launch this service is very anti-consumer, it's very expensive, it's not fair, and I quite honestly think they're ripping off the very few fans who deeply care about the game. They shouldn't be getting harassed, right? Once again, I'm gonna double down on what I said earlier. Enlighten them, talk with them, be nice to them. Or, here's a better idea, don't sign on to the game. Don't sign on to Fallout 76. If you're trying to get a point across to Bethesda, don't sign into the game and inflate their numbers. Even if it's to just get the point across to people who are subscribing to Fallout First that, hey, what you're doing is wrong, which is, by the way, not your decision. You're really not hurting Bethesda by inflating how many people are going onto Fallout 76. Because all they're gonna see is the data, the numbers of sign-ins, an increase after Fallout First, and they will continue to do stupid stuff like this. And I'm not saying that as someone who's sitting here praying, hoping, oh my God, Bethesda, please come back to us. I've kind of given up on that if you couldn't tell. But vote with your wallets or your time. Spend your free time better. I know that's not my call to make for you, but I think there's a lot of better ways to spend your time in a more productive manner than hopping on the 76 to try to ruin some days. That's just my thoughts, man. I know that a lot of people will probably disagree because Fallout First is awful, and I completely agree on that front, but I don't believe that we should be harassing those players because of that. There's a better way of going about it that can provide the same effect in a positive manner, and people should be aware of that. Now, I don't want anyone thinking I've gone soft. It's just, I know that feeling of being on an island for enjoying something that others maybe don't like nearly as much. I remember when Fallout 4 came out, and then all of a sudden people started to really critique it a lot more come December, January, and I was still sitting there like, it's the greatest thing ever. It's a really awkward feeling, especially when you're on a public platform. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you what to buy, okay? So if you're gonna spend 80 bucks, get the Ring Fit Adventure game for the Nintendo Switch. This is a legit workout. I did this just last night, and I'm sore. And I work out about 4 or 5 times a week. I'm impressed. So, hey, if you're gonna spend money, do it on this. Give Nintendo your money. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for me. those are just my thoughts on the Fallout 76 Civil War alongside Bethesda's Under the Radar updates. I really think they're going to just try to let things blow over, which is why I've continued to keep the heat on, and I've sort of been going on and off with 76 The Outer Worlds, 76 The Outer Worlds, because I don't want to turn into a negative channel and overkill it here, even though it seems like every day something's happening with 76 that is newsworthy. I really want to create a balance and not have myself be identified as that negative Fallout hating, cash grabbing YouTuber, because that's not how I am at all. Most of you already know that, but I know we've had a lot of new viewers coming in, and I appreciate all of you. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for me. Thank you so much for your time. I know there's a lot of competition out there, so I appreciate it if you came this far into the video. Let me know what you're thinking of the whole fiasco in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.